Okay, so we are back now, sitting at number 7, and once again, we are going to make a trade up to number 3, and the point of all this is to understand what it's gonna take for the Raiders if they want to and end up needing to move up to number 3 to get the 3rd quarterback, which is clearly the last 2, ones that we've done. It's gonna be the first 2 quarterbacks have been very out there as far as, what the intentions of the Texans and Panthers are. So, Raiders are sitting at number 7 right now. So we're going to take the Raiders number 7 pick, Cardinals number 3 pick, and we're going to go through the mock draft simulator to see what it's going to require for us to acquire this number 3 overall pick. So I'm going to include our 2nd round pick. So what that ends up calculating is a 72% chance to be accepted. Micah, what do you feel about giving up our first 2 picks to move up 4 spots? Too much, too little?
Would be very good if that was all it took to do that. I do think that is a little amount. I guess it's not a whole lot, but when you're talking about, moving up to that 3 spot, like it's somewhat insinuated on why you're trying to do that. So people are going to have a king's ransom for something along those lines. But I would say that that would be a steal for the Raiders if we could get rid of our first and a second. I haven't seen anybody steal that big of a bundle for a first and a second since Devontae Adams came over to the Raiders. So
worse than stealing valor,
yeah,
certainly. Which is why, which you're the perfect co-host, main host as well. We aren't going to do this until it is a 100% certainty that the Raiders get this pick. So, like you said, it's going to be a steal, but also, like you mentioned, the Cardinals know what they're doing. They know that they're going to leverage this pick. They know the Raiders are trading up for a quarterback, so they're going to be like, how much do you really want this pick? So now let's take a look at what would you feel about giving up our number 7 overall pick, number 38, and a 3rd round of next year? Would you accept that deal? Because right now it has a 100% chance of being accepted.
yeah. If that's 100% chance, I say we take it, right? Because talking about the first two picks we already talked about, and then I mean a 3rd next year. That's like spending money on a credit card. It's just not real. It's not real money that you're playing with, right? We just went out and got a 3rd for Darren Waller, right? So we just got a 3rd for trading for a player that probably didn't want to be there in the first place, but that's neither here nor there. But yes, I would say leverage it. Leverage the 3rd next year. If you got a 100% chance, you take it.
Okay. So we're taking it. We're going to offer the trade, and they accepted. Thank goodness. So what we're going to do is start the draft. We're not controlling this, so we're not going to determine who 1 or 2 is, and we will discuss number 3. So what we have is okie dokie. It's actually hilarious because I'm like, we're doing this exercise, which I came up with, which I'm like, this is going to be cool because we're going to determine what we can get number 3. But in the last 2 ones that you and I just did, it was like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud are gone, right? I'm like, so this is kind of lame. But guess what? Number 1 overall, Bryce Young, standard. Number 2 overall, Anthony Richardson to the Houston Texans, which leaves the Raiders, and this might even be more of a lame exercise than I anticipated. There is CJ Stroud and Will Levis on the board. Also, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson. Micah, what say you as far as the Raiders taking at number 3, or would this just be more so a dream of mine?
This would be a dream of 2, mine as well. I think that if the Raiders were able to snag CJ Stroud for a 1st, a 2nd, and next year's 3rd, that would be the ultimate moondoggy finagle that anyone could have ever gotten out of anything ever. So, yes, CJ Stroud, take it. You said that when the Raiders were picking at 7 and Will Anderson was on the board, you said you just run as fast as you can to the podium. This would be faster. So.
Yeah, it would be faster because you and I would be there and we'd do like a like a 4x1 or for the 4x4 where they pass off the baton. Yeah, that's what would happen. Well, and honestly, like I know we're joking right now, but there actually has been a lot of reality to the situation where the Carolina Panthers are infatuated with Anthony Richardson, where they could take him at number one, and the Texans are sitting at number two. Do they trade up? A lot of stuff has been linked to Bryce Young. I think they would sit and pick there, but that if Richardson goes one or two, right, and there is Stroud at three, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Raiders actually address it because they have been infatuated with Stroud, at least from what reports we have read, and so it's a peculiar situation for the Raiders sitting at seven, where it's like, listen, we got jumped by the Panthers. We know, three of the four quarterbacks are going to go in the top four picks. But if the quarterback that you like is available at number three, do you pick up the phone, make the call to the Cardinals and say, hey, remember that time that we traded back from 10 to 15 and we let you take Josh Rosen? Let's just do it again. Okay. Let's just do it again. So there's thoughts there, but fun exercise overall. There's a lot of different ways the Raiders can go here.